Although it's only a 2 hours drive east of San Diego, Anza Borrego Desert State Park is a world apart from the city and coast. On the eastern side of the peninsular ranges, which block most storms coming in off the Pacific Ocean, California's largest state park protects over 242,000 hectares of desert terrain, including dramatic badlands, cool palm oases, twisting slot canyons, and cactus-studded hillsides. Among the animals known to inhabit the Anza Borrego Desert are the antelope squirrel, kangaroo rat, the desert cottontail, mountain lions, bobcats, coyotes, mule deer, and the peninsular bighorn sheep, to name just a few. In addition to these, there is one creature that has been reported to exist in the desert, one that is both elusive and terrifying. In today's episode, we will be looking into the creature known as the Borrego Sandman. The Borrego Sandman is a humanoid creature residing in the area of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park in California. The Borrego Sandman, also called the Abominable Sandman of Borrego, could possibly be some sort of white-furred desert-dwelling Bigfoot, a cousin to Northern California's more classic forest-dwelling Sasquatch. The Borrego Sandman is a formidable figure, said to stand an imposing 8 feet tall and weigh up to 800 pounds. Witnesses describe the creature as being covered in shaggy white fur, a striking contrast to the sun-scorched desert landscape it calls home. Perhaps most unnerving are the Sandman's eyes, which are said to glow an eerie red, piercing through the darkness of the desert night. In many ways, the Borrego Sandman bears a striking resemblance to the more well-known Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Both are described as large, ape-like creatures that walk upright on 2 legs. However, the Sandman's white fur and desert habitat set it apart, leading some to speculate that it may be a distinct subspecies of Bigfoot, one that has adapted to the harsh, arid conditions of the Anza Borrego Desert. Encounters with the Sandman. In April of 1876, a prospector named Turner Helm encountered the Borrego Sandman near Deadman's Hole. He tried unsuccessfully to communicate with it in multiple languages, but when it became aggressive, he brandished his rifle and scared it off. More than a decade later, in March 1888, 2 men named Charles Cox and Edward Dean went searching for the creature, believing it was responsible for some unsolved murders that had recently been occurring, the victims having been torn apart like an animal had killed them. The 2 gentlemen shot and killed one of the Sandmen, but somehow, despite their claims that they had shipped the body back to San Diego for display, the corpse went missing in transit and was never seen again. In 1939, an anonymous store owner and prospector was attacked by a group of upright walking apes when he camped near Borrego Sink. They apparently surrounded his campsite, but refused to come closer due to the fire. He described them as covered in white fur with glowing red eyes. In 1964, Major Victor Stoyanov ran across tracks in the area. Some measured 14 inches in length and 9 inches wide. Supposedly, the Major took plaster casts and photographs, although they appear to have been lost over time. Also in 1964, a father and son reported running across one of the creatures, reporting that it threw rocks at them. The 2 described it as a shabby ape-like beast. In July of 1968, Harold Lancaster was prospecting east of Borrego Springs when he ran across one. He fired his .22 pistol into the air, scaring the Borrego Sandman off. In 1969, a man named Frank Cox supposedly shot a beast that was a cross between a man and a bear near Warner, California at Deadman's Hole. The creature reportedly had feet that were 24 inches in length. Native American legends. The Kahila people, who have inhabited the area for thousands of years, spoke of hairy devils, foul-smelling, man-like beasts that were to be avoided at all costs. These creatures were said to roam the desert, lurking in the shadows and striking fear into the hearts of all who encountered them. Physical evidence and theories. Despite the numerous sightings and encounters with the Borrego Sandman over the years, physical evidence of the creature's existence remains elusive. One of the most tantalizing pieces of evidence is a footprint cast taken by a retired police officer in 1962. The cast, which measures 14 inches in length and 9 inches in width, is said to have been made from a fresh track found in the desert sand. It clearly shows the imprint of a large humanoid foot, complete with 4 distinct toes. The print lacks any sign of claws, suggesting that the Borrego Sandman is not a mere animal, but some type of primate. The footprint cast is currently on display at the International Cryptozoology Museum in Portland, Maine, where it has become a popular exhibit among Bigfoot enthusiasts. Although physical evidence for the Borrego Sandman may be scant, that hasn't stopped researchers and enthusiasts from speculating about the creature's true nature and origins. One popular theory is that the Sandman is a previously undiscovered primate species, one that has adapted to life in the harsh desert environment. Proponents of this theory suggest that the Sandman may be a relic population of an ancient ape species, one that survived the ice ages by adapting to the arid conditions of the Borrego Desert. Another theory is that the Borrego Sandman is a subspecies of Bigfoot, a desert-dwelling population that has evolved to cope with the unique challenges of life in the arid desert environment. Supporters of this theory point to the many similarities between the Sandman and classic Sasquatch descriptions, which includes their large size, upright posture, and bipedal locomotion. Some researchers have even suggested that the decline in Borrego Sandman sightings in recent years may be due to the creature's migration to the nearby mountains. They speculate that the Sandman may have been driven out of its desert habitat by human encroachment or changes in the local ecosystem, and that it now resides in the more hospitable mountain regions to the north. Of course, there are also those who believe that the Borrego Sandman is nothing more than a hoax or a case of mistaken identity. They argue that the sightings can be explained by a combination of factors, including misidentification of known animals, hallucinations brought on by the harsh desert conditions, and outright fabrication by attention seekers. This concludes today's episode of the Paranormal Report. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. It is due to your continued viewership and support that we are able to bring you interesting and informative videos like this. The team here at the Paranormal Report really appreciates your support.